Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jocular Junction. My name is Jordan, joined with some really awesome judges here for our Appendix N Jam extravaganza. We have Sam, the artist formerly known as Skullboy.
Currently.
Currently? Not even formally?
What?
Okay.
Still
But
kicking,
Yeah.
still kicking. Okay, cool.
despite
cool.
the skeletal
Yeah.
features that I'm obviously sporting.
Yeah.
And we have our good friend Diogo. How are you, Diogo?
Hey everyone. I'm great. I'm happy to be here. Yeah. I've been writing a bunch of adventure pitches because of a project here in Brazil. So I'm like, yeah, more adventures, more.
Nice. I love it. And then, of course, we have our good friend Lex, usually in the top right corner, but not lately, doing reviews here on this channel, having lots of fun. Lex, you've kind of organized a monstrosity of a jam. What's going on? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, okay, so this is the live stream for the Appendix N Jam. This is an itch jam that we are doing throughout this month, the month of July 2025. And wow, it has so much more interest than I thought it would have. It's a good problem. I think the ongoing joke I have with my friends is I keep reposting the cover of DJ Khaled's Suffering from Success and just posting that whenever I talk about it. Because not that I like DJ Khaled, but it's just a good joke. Oh, Tony's here. That's cool.
Me forgetting you had posted the link the other.
We are currently live, Mr. Tony.
I know.
But welcome.
I just wanted everybody to know that it was entirely my own fault.
No, you're fine. I mean, this is a pretty casual thing. It's all right. But yeah, we're mostly here today to allow for questions about the jam that people may have on stream so that we can answer those. I'm also going to be going over some of the most common questions that I've gotten the most times just to get the answers out in another medium. We will also be discussing upcoming announcements for the jam. We're going to be hearing from our judges in terms of the kinds of things that they're looking for in submissions and sort of what their thought process is going to be when judging so that you can have an idea if you're making something like what route you want to take. And also, we are going to be showing off some of the amazing work from this community because, wow, you should really get in that Discord group. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. And a lot of the people who've been posting stuff in there that looks amazing have given us permission to show some of it on stream. So you can kind of get an idea of what other people are making and get inspired about your own stuff. But yeah, that's my big overview. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, you're doing awesome. It's great.
Cool.
Got some. Yeah, this just keeps getting bigger and bigger. How many? We're up to like 200 something now, or
what? 200? I wish. Oh my
wish?
God, we're past 460, I think.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, okay.
Yeah, we're as of the current count 467, 468. I haven't refreshed my page image. Yeah, now we're at 468. Okay.
Okay.
So it's been a lot. It's so much. There's been so much more interest than I thought there would be. I think when I was planning this out, I did a bunch of number crunching because I looked at other similar jams people had done, and I was like, okay, well, considering the size of the YouTube channel we're promoting it on and how big our followings are on social media and what these other jams have done, I anticipate that initial wave of like 100 people, and then we might max out at 150, 200. So it's just so much more than I expected. But yeah, no, it's cool. People
really
are
cool.
super enthusiastic. I've received tons of really great comments. I've I don't know what it's called on Blue Sky. I've retweeted on Blue Sky a bunch of the covers people have been showing off and their support for the jam, which has been really great. Yeah, so it's really nice. It's really nice to see, and the community is really great. Getting to talk to a lot of people on the Discord has been really great. So yeah, I guess our big first thing is a big thank you to everyone who has signed up to participate, and I'm excited to see your submissions, and I hope lots of people submit. I mean, it's going to be hard for us because it's a lot of for us to read, but we hope lots of people submit.
The more the better. Lots of
Yeah.
reading. All good.
Speaking of the people who are reading stuff, though, let's go around and introduce some of our judges and have them talk a little bit about what they do. So, the artist currently known as Skullboy, please, can you talk to us about some of the different things that you do?
Yeah, hi. I'm Skullboy, Sam Mameli. I draw pictures for tabletop role-playing games and video games and board games and all sorts of stuff. And I'm also on the podcast Between Two Karens. I'm the third guy on the Two Guy podcast, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Is there more things that I should?
No, that's fine. That's good.
Great.
Actually, what's your website?
Oh, betterlegends.com. #1 site on the internet.
Yes.
You guys hear the internet? I think it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It could be a cool place sometimes.
Yeah.
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 I've heard in the future it being like cigarettes, like you have a place to go use internet, so you don't use in front of everybody, so everybody don't get sick of, because internet's bad for you. I heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that also. I think what you need to stop doing is printing out all the pages on the internet and smoking them, because that I think is worse.
Yeah. Well, depend what you put it with, I would say.
Diogo, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you have done and what you are currently doing?
Hi, my name is Diogo Nogueira. I'm not the samba singer from Brazil. I'm a game designer. I make games, focusing on rules light games with a lot of tools. I write adventures for other people. I do illustrations too and design. I have a podcast called Weird Games and Weirder People, where I invite other creators to talk about their creative process, influences, and how weird they are. And I have cats. And I think that's it, right? I write and I draw, I design, and I talk to people. And I love games. Yeah.
Nice.
Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, any social media under Diogo _old skull, like the bone in your head, not the place you go to study. And I have a web page called oldskull-publishing.com.
Nice. All right, Tony, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey, I am Tony Vasinda. I live in Philly. I'm chief alchemist at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. So we help make games. We help do content for other people's games and help do a lot of marketing stuff. And we do a lot of things within the community to help small creators build equity, get the word out about what they're doing. I've had the chance to work with a couple of folks on the stream. Sam refuses to work with me, but
I'm pretty sure we've literally, I think you're the only live actual play I have ever done was on your stream. So
Sure,
I think we have an exclusive contract according to all of this.
But Sam refuses to draw pictures for me, but will violate their morals for me, which does matter a whole
Every
lot.
time we meet in person, Tony finds a way to take a picture of me, and then he sends it to me.
It's true.
Like, it's very creepy, and I'm having my lawyers
It's
go
true.
after
And
him.
across multiple different platforms, so Sam never knows where the creepy picture is going to come from, which just helps ramp up the tension more
Yeah, it's
and
good.
more.
It's good.
But yeah, so we publish a lot of games. We've had Diogo work great dungeons for some of our games, like Down We Go in the past. We did publish a little game called Spectral Exterminators, also by somebody else on the call also too, which I always sell at conventions as if the 1984 Ghostbusters game was well designed, this is what it would be like. So we work with a lot of different creators all over the place to help get their games into publication and play.
Nice, thanks. It's funny, when we started our Discord chat, I was like, oh yeah, we should. Tony was like, we should start a Discord chat with everybody so that we're all in one place, and we started doing that. And then I was like, man, I just am not friends with Sam on Discord, so I need to get a hold of him so I can add to the call. And then suddenly Tony's like, don't worry, I can do it. And I hadn't realized it was because Tony stalks Sam is why he had the information. So
yeah, Sam didn't accept my friend request. I snuck into Sam's house after sending it and accepted it on my own behalf.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, because I don't remember clicking that button.
So we also have another judge, which is Idle Cartellary, aka Nova, from the Playful Void blog. It is an RPG review blog that rules. Tons of really awesome reviews on there. One of the first people that I wanted to reach out to when I was thinking of judges who are going to be reviewing stuff. So they couldn't join us today because of a conflict, but that's fine. No big deal. They will definitely be looking at submissions. It's going to be very exciting. So, yeah. Okay. Let's, I guess, jump into the frequently asked questions thing that I want to do just real quick, because I get a lot of questions. And a lot of them are the same question repeated multiple times on multiple different platforms. So, hey, here's the one that I think I have finally started to get asked less, but I'm going to say it now. The Appendix N Jam, you are given a fake book title, not a real Appendix N book title, because then I would be forcing you to engage in copyright infringement, creating an adventure, and I'm not going to do that. So yeah, these are fake titles. Most of the time this has been a relief to people, because then they don't have to read like a novel in order to figure out how to write their module, which is great. But for some people it has been anxiety inducing, because now they feel like they have no direction. But yeah, so the titles usually are as evocative as I can think to make them, and it gives people some idea of what to do. Again, if you're looking for more inspiration or a place to bounce ideas off of, I strongly recommend you check out the Discord channel, which is in the Cult of the Lizard King server. I will generate a link, or actually, Jordan, if you could generate a link to
I'll see what I can do.
and just post it in chat. But that there's also a link to that on the Jam's main page. But that's a really great place to talk with different creators who are working on the Jam. So yeah, question number 1. Question number 2, you obviously have to use the title, and you probably noticed from the Jam page there are a lot of fake book covers. I made those book covers because they were fun, and because visual advertising, I think it helped a lot. Plus, I had all these fake titles, and I wanted to do something with them that was a little more eye-catching. But that does not mean that you are required to make a cover for your module. However, you are required to keep your module at 4 A5 size pages or less. So, if you want to make a cover, I'm not going to stop you, but you're burning one of your pages on that cover. So be aware, because that's the other thing that I hear a lot is people are like, oh, does the cover count? Can it not count? I really want to make a cover. The covers are so fun, but I don't want it to take up one of my 4 pages. And I'm like, sorry, that's a bullet you're going to have to take. But yeah,
well,
so
they can make the cover but not submit the version with the cover for the Jam, and then use the cover later.
Just put it on your itch page, baby. Like, itch page that.
There are ways around it, right? Like someone was, I think I got a message about how someone was like, oh, I want to add this additional content, but I don't want it to be part of the 4 pages. And I was like, I mean, you can do that and put it up on your page, but anything beyond those 4 pages that are part of the module are not considered by the judges. It's not going to be judged. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to, I'm not stopping you, but understand how we're going to be doing things.
I think a really clever person could probably figure out a way to have their cake and eat it too here, and make a cover and make it pertinent to the content in such a way
that too,
that it was necessary to be included. And,
the overland map of your dungeon is the cover.
Yep.
And it spells out something cool.
There's
there's a written message there, and you have to decipher to solve something.
I like that a lot. It's a player handout.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, we're feeding you free ideas here, people.
This is why you need to watch the stream if you're part of the Jam.
That's right.
So yeah, those are the big things. Also, just check out all the different links that are on the Jam page. So I already mentioned the Discord multiple times, but there is a Google Drive that is linked there. That is a really big deal because it has a lot of links to tutorials if you want to learn how to do stuff that might help you making the module. It has examples of layouts for dungeons, just some different creators that I really like. I think Jacob Fleming, like his Tower Silver Axe layouts. I'm like, hey, if you want to confine a dungeon to 2 pages, this is how you do it. Also, Singing Flames dungeon book. I have some examples from that, some other things. So yeah, there's a lot of helpful stuff in there. Lots of graphics and art assets. If you want to do that beat up cover look or just the beat up textured look over the rest of your document, there's all sorts of different textures with or without transparency. We got fake stickers, fake price tags. We got all sorts of stuff in there.
I love
so
it.
if you really want to add that like used bookstore grime, a lot of really good resources are in that folder. And then finally, the other really big thing in that folder. Okay, let me back up a little bit. When we started the jam, the way I was distributing titles is they would be sent out via email, via like a mass email, and I would link to a document. I was going to try and send them out in individual emails, but that immediately was undoable. So there's too many people. But there is so I'm not sending the emails anymore because we're past that time. I just kept mass emailing everyone, and that was too much, and I felt like that was going to get annoying. So the way it works currently, and this is reflected in the wording on the Jam page, which I have changed as of yesterday or the day before, so if you haven't looked at it in a couple days, check it out. There is a master list of everyone's itch handle and the title that goes with them. And that is an Excel document in the Google Drive. And I update it as frequently as I can. So if you have signed up, give it like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours to make sure that you get a custom title generated just for you. But once you're past that time, you should be able to just go to that document, scroll down until you find your handle on it, or I think you could probably word search it and find your title. So if you're confused about where that information is, that's where it's at. Check it out there. Okay, I think that's all my big things. Did we have any questions from chat?
Nothing yet. People are just kind of excited about their titles, so it seems really cool. Like
Amazing.
They liked all the fake book titles.
They have been a lot of fun, a little stressful, but a lot of fun to make. One of the fans, one of the people who is participating and a fan of my work actually emailed me and was like, "Hey, I scripted out a title generator for you to make your life easier." And then I tried using it, and I'm like, it's just not as much fun as making them myself. So then I just continued making them myself.
Lex, what is your favorite title you created? That's my question from the chat. I'm the chat now.
Let's see. I think it's probably one of the earlier ones. It's probably Heralds of Acheron.
You heard it here first, people. That's the that's
the
so
winning
far,
one.
Yeah.
the winning.
Yep.
That's the winning adventure.
If you got
got
that
a
title,
leg up.
congratulations. But yeah, cool. Yeah, again, thanks everybody. Thanks to the judges for participating.
You're welcome.
Heck yeah. So judges, and maybe we'll just start with Sam. Sam, what do you, as someone who reviews adventure modules in a capacity that is there, what
That's exactly the capacity that it is.
exactly what are you looking for in like a fun adventure? Like what makes it an award-winning adventure for Sam?
Well, I think ultimately, like, you want interesting things to be in it. That's a broad way of saying, but like, I'm a big
You
fan
want it to be
of-
good.
I want it to be good. Please don't make it bad and make me read it. That seems mean to me specifically. No, I think the one of the biggest things for me is like good interactivity, meaningful choices, and being concise with things. Like you don't need a ton of words to get that job done. Make sure the words you use count.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm going to be looking at the art. I'm going to be I'm going to be trying to judge it through a lens of the form. Already some of these covers are so like spot on to the way that the old pulp covers look. I'm a big fan of the old pulp covers. I think book covers are they used to be better.
It's like a lost art form almost.
It really
Lost
is.
art, yeah, yeah.
It really is. I think and it makes sense. It's like it's cheaper to hire a graphic designer to do 50 book covers than it is to hire a painter to do 10. But I miss Fabio. I miss seeing him. I miss seeing his hair on things. But so far what I've seen has been really cool. And yeah, just like, it's a great chance to go and look at, go to a used bookstore in your town and go, paw over all of the weird old pulp section and just get inspired because there's a lot of cool stuff out there and there's a lot of fun to be had. So
side note, one of the things that got brought up in Discord chat that I think was a great reference is someone linked to Paperback Paradise's Instagram page. I don't know if people are familiar with it, but it is very funny. Fake book covers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah, that retro nostalgia chic is popular. And I'm noticing because the second edition of Kids on Bikes came to my house and they did that cover mashup as well to make it all beat up and stuff. And so super fun.
And it has that nice link to RPGs, and I guess more specifically the OSR, but just RPGs in general because of how those books inspired them.
And those books just get used a lot, so they're always like you find used copies. It's like it's used. Diogo, as somebody who's just I don't know, you're like the Rembrandt of RPGs because you write, you draw, you organize, you lay out, you do a podcast.
Organize? I don't organize. I'm terrible at organizing.
Okay. But what are you looking for in various in an RPG jam? Like what sparks your fancy?
Well, being an Appendix N kind of adventures, I kind of expect this kind of pulpy feel of this literature. They are usually enter about like heroes saving something. They're about people going after their own personal objectives, and they get dragged into a bigger situation sometimes that they end up saving something, but it's usually something more personal. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm kind of looking forward to just very genre bending limits of the Appendix N and pulp literature. So it isn't about being fantasy or horror or sci-fi. It's something that really plays with this limits. Like it's weird fiction,
Yeah.
I'd love to see adventures that are not linear, that you can approach in different ways, maybe, and it doesn't have a fixed ending. Like, it begins here and this happens and this happens, and yeah. I don't know if I can find if there is an adventure that plays something with I'm very interested in this nowadays. It's like something adventure that plays with the act of playing. Like you can solve with a die roll or basic game mechanics. It's something that like the players have to figure out something.
Yeah,
or
some critical thinking that has to take place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Something that goes beyond the game,
Yeah.
That brings the challenge to the table,
Tony, did we go around? I don't think you were here yet when we introduced ourselves. So who are you? And
I introduced myself.
oh, you did. Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, you're good. I was late, so that's not your fault.
Tony, could you maybe introduce yourself again, but more memorably?
Yeah, try
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
My favorite son of Chief Alchemist at +1 EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare, alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Remember me. Not now, but when I die. The thing I look for in adventure, the thing I'm going to be looking for as a publisher, like a big part of our focus is helping find creators that really have something distinctive that they're trying to say. Which this is like really abstract, but I'll make it concrete in a second. Like everybody has their own, ideally, their own unique and individual voice. And when you're doing like Appendix N style work, a lot of the statement is like, how do I want to emulate something? Like, what is it about this genre that inspires me? And there's a lot of things in that become tropes or ideas or very repeatable things. None of those are bad. They're actually really good. The question becomes like, how do you make it distinctively yours, right? Which can be in visual style, like Sam was talking about. It can be in the writing, the layout. A big part of me, like, I really love to look at a game and think about one of two things, right? Like, either, oh man, this makes me immediately want to get it to the table, and it lets me make my players do interesting things or say interesting things or have a distinctive interaction that's driven by the lens or the voice of the creator. The other end of that is I also love things where it's like, this is totally unusable at a table because it's trying to do something distinctive. Like this is a meta reflection on something. Like maybe I could sit down at a table and play this, but sometimes even within 4 pages, you're writing something distinctively as an expression with less influence on gameability. And I think the best thing is when people know where they fall at on that table, right? Where you don't feel like you have to only be fully gameable, even though that's great. And really, honestly, a lot of, as a publisher, what I look for, there are plenty of games I buy to read. And I really love people taking an idea, especially in old school play, and pushing it into such an abstracted place where the GM is forced to make a decision about how it's going to live in their game, because I think that makes a really distinctive experience of play. And if you look back at a lot of kind of classic adventures and dungeons, they span that whole gamut of like, oh, this is easy to pick up and play and run and make sense to, I have no idea how I would even explain. Like the words on the page don't necessarily make sense. I'm scribbling between this map over here, this abstracted concept, and some very loose ideas. I think both of those are valuable. I think you just need to know which one you're going for, because the worst thing is when you think you've made something really clear and nobody has any idea how to do anything with it. But you can make something super abstracted as long as you have clarity on the fact that it's not and can communicate to a GM that you want them to interpret and make decisions and provide a lens for that. Like you still can get really great things at a table. You can get really great moments of play on that. So a lot of what I start to think, which is my way of saying, hey, maybe run your dungeon. like maybe
That's a
maybe
great point.
Maybe run your own dungeon for friends, right? Hop online and play it. Like sit around a table and do it. Sit down with yourself, find your favorite set of solo dungeon crawling rules. You can pick them down when you go. It's got a great set of it. And like go through it to see if things come out the way you expect, or if they come out in a different way, but make sure that you can actually do something with the content you're created. And that either comes from very direct, very gameable content, or it comes from hyper abstracted, but I've given instructions to the GM on what they're supposed to do with this, right? And what they're supposed to do with this may just be like read it and let it sit in the back of your brain and become a worm that eats away at you. Like that's fine. But like those are the types of things that I think about a lot when I'm looking at submissions for things in this vein.
Yeah, I just want to quickly build off of what Tony said there. One of the things that I frequently find myself looking at in like Karen's adventures that maybe we'll read but decide not to review because it's just not going to be productive. Something like don't make it a walking tour. Like one of the things that separates a dungeon or like an adventure module from a novel is you can or a short story or whatever is you can have a really successful sort of walking tour as like a short story, and you can get, there's a lot of evocative imagery and things like that you can do. You have to give the players something to do though in order for an adventure module to be memorable and good, I think. And so just think about that in terms of like, am I just writing a room that's like, and then you see this and the players go, okay, let's continue. Like, you want to balance that out, because otherwise, that's just one of those adventure writing things where, like, especially if this is your first adventure, may not be something you're thinking about. But just keep that in the back of your mind.
I like that idea. So I just want to clarify though, when you say like, and you see this, that is like a walking tour thing. What would be the actionable thing? Like you see a statue, and then is the actionable thing, and the statue beckons you forward, or it's bleeding, or are you trying to make something so that they ask why, or are you trying to actually just make an invite for them to walk in? Like
I think a lot of times for me, it's like show them where they can play with the thing.
Okay.
Like, give them the opportunity. It's just like, yeah, there's a statue, in the corner, and you can see its head is twisted on the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or, just like buttons to push, things that get you thinking like, oh, that's not right. Or like, maybe if we do this with like, I always like to reference the Legend of Zelda, like the older, like even something like Ocarina of Time. There's lots of like puzzles that are there that aren't super difficult, but they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be satisfying to solve. And I think sometimes thinking in those terms, like you're trying to create interesting situations.
Yeah.
And every Jaguar statue is a Chekhov's Jaguar statue. Like there is like you've got 4 pages. Like don't put something in that does nothing. Like it doesn't do you any benefit. It doesn't do anyone any benefit. And so like when you mention the Jaguar statue, right? Like it needs to be a thing you can interact with, right? Or it needs to be something that you want them to interact with so that something else happens. But then in that case, it is to draw them to that, to look at it, so that other thing. Like it always has to be doing something. If it's not, like if it's stage dressing, put it at the beginning. Like describe the sights and the smells and the sounds of the place generally at the beginning, and let the GM weave those through. If it's a sight or sound or something else that doesn't matter, don't put it in a room's description or in the main text of what you're doing, because it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Lex,
and when you've
I've
only
got
got 4 pages to work with. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
Well, I got a new book title for you, The 13th Jaguar Statue.
Oh,
So
that's good.
If you want to add that.
Sure. I'm definitely adding that and remembering it right now.
I think the 7th Jaguar statue adventure was far superior, but that's the 13th was
it's jumped the shark at that point.
It died off
Which reminds
after
me,
8.
put shark jumping in your adventure. But no, to those points, I definitely have read a lot of modules, particularly older ones, and Sam, you'll probably know what I'm talking about here, where we do see like either there's nothing in a bunch of the rooms, which I get that there is a point to that in old school dungeons to a degree, but there's also like a room with this really interesting set piece, but it does nothing, and it explicitly says in the text of the module like, this door is fake, or this statue does nothing, or something like that. And I'm just like, why are you putting it in there if it doesn't do anything?
Yeah, it's important to think holistically about these things. Like, yeah, there's a right amount of empty rooms, but an empty room just means, at least in like old school D&D parlance, it just means that there's no traps or treasure or monsters in it. That doesn't mean that it's not a utility to you, the dungeon master, and someplace like that the players can still interact with things, and just think about things toyetically.
And if you're playing around with like empty rooms, it's also like in some systems a torches flicker, time passes, like we're killing time and resources with this. But again, make that choice intentionally, not haphazardly. Like make sure that that's a part of what you're trying to do, not just, I wanted an empty dungeon for a second.
Yeah, I want to see a dungeon with 99 empty rooms and then one treasure chest in the center that's just meant to destroy your resources on the way to an unsatisfying conclusion. I think that would be really good.
99 empty rooms in a Lich in one.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah, honestly, that's what the Tomb of Horrors should be. Really. Easier to write, certainly.
Yeah.
But,
I always see empty rooms as an opportunity to tell something. Like an empty room can be a place to rest, but it can also have, murals or some information about that place. A corpse that maybe has signs of what attacked them, so you can this thing has claws or something like this. Like empty rooms are not really empty. They might not have a threat, but you can use them to some extent to tell a story. People love to talk about telling a story. So you can tell something about that place in that empty room, or something that is happening, something about the factions.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Yeah. If people want to think about other adventures to look to for inspiration in terms of like how to do layout, I would recommend, any of the old school essentials stuff. Like I was just rereading Winter's Daughter the other day, and the way that like each section of that has a quick little thing for atmospherics, and it's just like, oh, mist clings to the floor here, or stuff like that. And it's a great little quick, easy way to like put that at the top of a page, and then you get a vibe for everything that follows. But yeah, some of the stuff I already mentioned. Singing Flames Dungeon, very good. Jacob, what was it? In the Shadow of Tower Silveraxe. Yeah. But yeah, are there other publications that you think people might want to like take a look at if they want to see how this kind of writing?
No one should ever look at that. But it's only won a couple of awards. Don't check it out. No, it's very good. Oh man, I just had one in my head, and now I can't remember what it was because I made a dumb.
I would say check out the one-page dungeons contest, the winners, and check out how they put so much stuff in so little space. And you have more space. You have 4 pages. Those people make really good adventures in 1 page. So check their stuff and see what you can learn from them.
There's a great adventure called Evils of Ilmire, where there's so many dungeons in it, and all of them are these just 2-page spreads. I think they did an amazing job and a lot of the dungeons are really good too. So it's like it's worth checking out in that regard. Blackworm of Brandonsford is another one that chances a lot with a little. In that one, it's not. I don't feel like the graphic design sensibilities or like that are unattainable for most people, and it's clear, it's concise. Making something easy to read that's like what we want to avoid here, I think, is the large block paragraph formatting of TSR, and something that is a little bit easier to parse. Speaking just as a judge, that's going to make my life a lot easier.
Well, there's that also
Mark Borg Adventures, the Mark Borg Adventures, like from the core book, it's very well laid out, very concise, very clear. Yeah. So check out how Mark Borg folks do their stuff. They're very, very atmospheric.
Mothership as well. I think Mark Borg and Mothership have very good fan communities for making graphic design choices.
Yeah, what is it? The Haunting of Epsilon 13, I think, for Mothership is just a pamphlet, and that's like, I don't know, one of the coolest adventures I've read in a long time. I was like really blown away by how concise it was and stuff. So
that's really good.
You can take a lot of time in that adventure also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of play for such a small bag.
Yeah. Year of the Rat is another good Mothership one, stylistically especially. It's got all that good lettuce work.
Lex, you're also judging. What are you looking for?
Gosh. I'm really looking for, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm really looking for like people who have taken the prompt and gone in a way with it that I might not have expected, or that really makes it their own. Because one of the things I try to do with a lot of the titles is make them kind of open-ended in how they reference different places or things or actions.
Nice.
So it'll be like, oh yeah, I like this god's item or something, but I'll make like the item just like weird, like something that god wouldn't have, or the god have like very specific connotations that might not have anything to do with the item. So I'm like, okay, you can kind of like mess around with that and do some odd stuff with it if you wanted. But yeah, it's
Maybe the jaguar statue is friendship all
the whole
along.
time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the real.
I like that idea.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all know that the best dungeons are a metaphor. The layout-wise, we have a video on our channel that Mike Martins, who's won a bunch of awards for layout, has done. But he was Sailing of Claus Manor won an Annie last year. It's one of his books. But he did a map in that. It's the first time he's done a map in a long time. I will pull the spread for that specifically, that whole section, and drop it in the Discord. The wash is done, and my.
You done doing my laundry now, Tony?
Yeah, I'm done doing your laundry. I'll bring it right back over. Sans a couple of choice pieces. But Mike does such a great job as a UI UX person. The layout workshop he does over on our channel is really tremendous, and about looking at kind of alternate resources that are not just kind of your classic, hey, let's not just look at other RPGs, but let's look at things that thematically match what we're trying to achieve piece. But I'll pull the couple of spreads that they did for the map of Claus Manor, because they're just really, really good hook writing. Mike leaves a lot of empty space, which for 4 pages, maybe you want to do, maybe you don't want to do in the things, but I'll pull those and drop them in the channel. It's a really good pairing to that video, and I think it's really good about inspiring you to look at things that maybe aren't your classic RPG manual for layout and design inspiration also too. So I'll link both of those in the Discord.
Yeah. We also have lots of free itch stuff that's out there. So if you just search around, like there's tons of people that put out all kinds of interesting, like only reason I know this is because I've used a couple of them for things that I've worked on, but like layouts and stuff that you could use that are Creative Commons and kind of cannibalize what you need here and there and give attribution. It's awesome.
Speaking of, well, actually, no, I have no good transition for this, but we are we're running towards the end. We got like 15, 20 minutes left. So I would like us to start showing off some of the things that people have been working on, so we can sort of talk about those in the context of the conversations we've already been having, and just like promote people's stuff, because that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have some covers and some other stuff that people have made, and they've given us permission here to share it with you on the stream. And I feel like a lot of people are gravitating towards this cover because of the covers you made, Lex, but it is not like a mandatory thing, is it? We're not like,
no, you really,
in fact, some people are like, well, we were saying like, does it have to be part of my thing? But here, we're going to show off a couple covers here, and I'm going to see if I can transition our faces. There we go.
Okay. So I tried to put the handle, or the Twitch the handle of the itch creator as like part of the image file name, so that people who are bringing up those files will know who we're talking about, be able to give them some credit. To the point of you can do any kind of adventure you want. That's true, but you can also work in basically any kind of system you want. Now, in the jam page, we do recommend D&D or a D&D derivative, and that is mainly because those are the works that are most inspired by the Appendix N. But listen, it's not a hard and fast rule. If you want to do a like lasers and feelings module, I'm not going to stop you. So this one, the Chain Colossus, this is, I should bring this up in my own browser, but this is for Mythic Bastion Land.
The
a
Chain
fantastic
Colossus.
game.
Is that
Yeah.
what we're? Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
A
And it's from Andrew
Duval.
Duval. Very nice.
Yeah. So, and I think we have some interior as well
Yeah.
from that, maybe.
It's got a nice
Chronos.
consistent Goya theme
Yes,
here.
yep.
We've got Goya's Colossus. We've got Saturn devouring his son.
Mm-hmm. It's just Goya all the way down.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a great example of like it's got that great weathered book title. The art obviously feeds into that really well. Some really interesting choice of fonts, and very clean, like black text on white.
Mm-hmm.
Couple columns, pretty easy to read. So I'm into that. But yeah. Oh, I also like how they have their own little logo in the corner. That's fun. The van.
Yeah, sketchy van. That's so good.
Yeah, that's great.
Andy does really, really great work. Like really great creator. Also, like really solid cartography skills that they've been honing and showing their work on for the last couple of years. It's been really fun to watch.
Cool. Yeah. Let's go to the next one, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh,
Then-
this is still very much a work in progress. This is someone who asked if they could do theirs as a pamphlet, as a like trifold pamphlet, and I was just like, hey, as long as it doesn't take up more paper than the requirements, like I'm cool with it.
Cool.
So as long as I don't have to read more, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, an adventure for Into the Odd, and it's got like kind of a fun, sort of like almost whimsical vibe to it because it's about wine.
Yeah, the Knolls of Nuth, or how would
Mhm.
you pronounce? There's too many extra syllables. I went to a public school.
No, I think you nailed it in one.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's cool. I'm excited for this one too. And then we have a little bit of the interior that they have the brandy market.
Yeah. Brandy, that's what it was. This also is giving away the fact that I take references from a lot of existing literature. Specifically, this is a Lord Dunsany thing. How Nuth would have practiced his art upon the knolls is the name of the story that I got this idea
That's where
from.
Knowles came from.
Yeah.
Like Appendix N wise. That's
Oh, fun.
I'm also really going to shout out the smart design of pamphlet layout. Like pamphlet layout lets you actually get closer to about 8A5 pages of information where you would normally get 5. So like if you're thinking about layout really intentionally, you're going to get a better information economy in a pamphlet format than you'll get in a traditional A format.
Okay.
Bum bum bum. The Sea of Fear.
Oh, the Sea of Fear. So we got Mothership now, right? That's what Sea of
Yeah.
Fear is, as I recall. This is so another great thing where someone's like, "Hey, this title to me sounds like a science fiction title, so I'm gonna do a science fiction module." And that was a little intentional in the title thing. I mean, not with this one specifically, but there are a lot of them that like they reference planetary bodies or other like cosmic stuff. And a big part of that is because, in the Appendix N, you have a lot of titles that are the genres had not solidified yet at that time. So there's a lot of like science fantasy and like weird things in them. So I kind of tried to be like, okay, cool. Yeah. If you want to interpret this as a science fiction module, I am super down with that. And yeah, I love how this person has done some like layer blending to sort of overlay those 2 or I guess 3 images. Cause I assume it's astronaut skull and then cosmos thing. They're all kind of meshed together there.
The astronaut also has like an 8-bit feel to it, which I really think works well for that cover. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Also, it can't be a science fiction module if it doesn't have an astronaut skeleton on the front.
That's true. That's a requirement.
Yeah.
It also
I think
Mhm.
this references the Voids of Varn, which is this mothership, or is this are they wanting to use Vaults of Varn as its?
Oh, maybe this is Vaults of Varn. I'm sorry. There are
Nice.
definitely some
There's
mothership
some
modules,
mothership
but
ones in the mix, yeah. But I think this may be a Vaults of Varn
yeah, that
inspired,
makes sense.
which is a great poll.
yes, 100%. Gosh, I didn't even talk about it right.
Well, we're all here together.
But yeah, cool.
Up next is Jungle of the Jade Jaguar, which is Dungeon Club.
Yeah.
You can immediately tell this is Dungeon Club by just the quality of the pull together of the different assets.
It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, I love how this is system neutral, but includes a little role-playing system, which really, really great use of textures on this, and fonts, and sort of text arrangement.
And stickers.
Great use of stickers.
Great use of stickers.
I think they were talking in the Discord about how the Jade Jaguar is the sword, and wherever it is planted in the earth, a jungle springs up around it. That was like a concept they were going with, which I thought was very cool.
Really cool, actually.
Yeah. It's not as good as the Jade Jaguar being
friendship.
Yeah, obviously. But
well, we can't all have these monolith ideas all the time, so that's fine. So.
But
the vibe for this one is also screaming at me like the book the teenager finds in a movie that then takes them on their own mythical adventure.
Yeah.
Like very, very 80s like VHS vibe, throwing back to like 60s and 70s pulp like feel. It's really, 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 really good.
I'm really hung up on that idea though. I love that the sword is just like a key or a portal for a jungle, and so you stab it into the ground. It's just like, jungle's gonna be pouring out from the jungle dimension. It's so cool. Up next, Secret of the Azure Skull.
I want to do a shout out to the fact that they used the Magic the Gathering font for Secret of the Azure Skull. Because I love that font. Also, Citadel Miniatures, their old font as well.
Yeah.
Is it New York Grimes? Is that what the name of the quoted publication is?
Yeah.
Best adventures I've ever read.
But that's cool. Yeah. Love the color. Love the sort of image compositing for it. Very simple. So this is a great one in contrast to what we were just looking at with the J Jungle, because that's like there's a lot of like detail work in that. This one is like very minimal and still probably just as effective.
Yeah.
This is from Helltongue Storytelling. Also.
Yeah, they do good. Yeah, Paolo do good stuff. Yeah.
Paolo's such a great creator.
Yeah.
And sticker. Always got the stickers. Just a
Stickers
touch.
great. Big fan of stickers.
Um,
I wouldn't say they grow on you, but they definitely stick on you for a while.
Wow.
Thank you, Diogo, for laughing at me.
One out of 4.
One laugh.
Yeah.
Lone Archivist. This is Udzi Hozo Awakens.
Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, when I was making all these titles, one of the things I drew on were a lot of deities of different cultures because I just thought they were interesting. And it's either Odzi or Udzi Hozo is a Native American like trickster god who is from New England. They're actually the myth is that after they were done doing all their stuff, they just laid down and turned into a mountain in Vermont. So that's where they're at. But yeah, so I was just like, oh, this would be a really fun thing. And I like how how Lone Archivist has integrated in stonework. Obviously, checking that out. But we've also got this cool statue in here. And it's got like the frickin' like boxed thing that you see in I think some old adventures, but maybe more like older video games, like the Atari games, right?
There's like a real like sort of Sega Saturn look to this. It's got that sort of the grid that suggests like sort of the Tron Matrix existing and the framework and everything. It's good. It's
retro gaming kind of vibes. Yeah.
I got to watch Lone A/B test a couple cover options in a lot of different servers over the last couple days, so it's been fun to watch this one evolve also.
Super cool.
Oh.
Up next is Island of the First God. And this is by Sir Greed. And again, I guess I'll point out, these are not mandatory, but as far as like, we just thought they were really cool, and we wanted to show off more of what these people were creating. Just fun covers. So,
my favorite thing about
this title is great, by the way.
My favorite thing about this one is there's something a little uncanny about the spread between like these set of fingers where the mountain is. Like it doesn't the physiology isn't quite right, but for like the title and it being potentially a god's hand, like it hits a really solid like sweet spot of that hand just isn't fucking quite right.
Yeah.
It feels really
it's unsettling.
Good.
And then we have Savad's Sanctum. This next one is Conjurer's Bauble. JB Davis.
Made for use with Ghosts of the Sierra Verde. Is that one of the Gauntlet Publishing's games?
I'm like looking at it right now because I'm like, I don't even know that it's. I don't think it's Gauntlet. I think you're thinking of Ghost of El Paso.
Oh, I am thinking of Ghost of El Paso. Damn, how could I get those two mixed up?
I think the Wolves on the Coast hack that Svad's done. That is correct. Ghost of the Sierra Verde Grand Campaign. So.
This cover. So there have been some people who have talked in Discord about how they're like that. Like one person I think it was earlier today was like, "Oh, I'm so intimidated by all these cool covers," and I'm like, "Dude, don't worry. If you find like a solid public domain image and a decent font, and you slap a texture on that bad boy, you're like 75% of the way there." And this cover is such a good example of that. Like, it looks fantastic, and it's really just a couple of pretty basic elements.
Yeah. I also really love the handwritten like notes for like of the Conjurer's Bauble they've done. The other thing I love is the JB Davis is that I'm pretty sure that's just a fake author that they threw on there.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, we have. Were we going to share? Do we want to share the notes? I actually haven't gotten to look them over in as much detail as I wanted because I've been busy writing titles.
Well, it looks like it's just the background and then some extra notes about a tower and stuff that they're creating. But yeah, it's super cool.
But just seeing the handwritten like reality of it and just like knowing like, hey, this isn't going into a Google Doc. This is going into a notebook. Has a really like it's just a fun thing to know. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, pen and paper is my new favorite. Not my new favorite, but I've been writing less and less in Google Docs and more of my projects in notebooks because then I have cool notebooks filled up and people are like, "Whoa, what are those?" Basically, I'm just trying to impress my friends. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The other fun thing about this is in the notes, it's a seven level tower, right? Level 1 and level 7 are both layered, which means we know where we're starting, we know where we're ending, we know there's 130 feet between them, but we don't know anything else about it. And so just like, I actually think there's a lot of really good subtle design, like design intent that we're seeing happen here, like laid out of like, I've created the background, I've done a little bit of lore, I picked a starting point, I picked an ending point, I know how many places I'm going. Now I just have to figure out how to make them come together. It's a really good, just concise way to start writing like this.
Yeah, I like it. We had a good question in chat is asking if anyone's doing any vlogs or blogs about developing their adventure for this jam. And not that I know of, but if people are, you could definitely let us know and we could throw out some links maybe towards the end of the jam and people could watch like how the adventure got made kind of a thing. So
yeah. I will definitely I will put that up, share it on social media. I'd love to. That sounds really cool.
Mind Vault Over Mars, which is from Taco Force 157.
Amazing handle.
It's a really good handle. And is this the one you were saying they drew the whole thing? Like this is all, or was that another?
No, it's this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this
good.
one was really awesome. super science fantasy-esque, which is my favorite type of fantasy-esque, the science kind.
Yeah, no, it's just like really, really visually, it grabs you. We've got that great light focal point. We've got a great use of font, some interesting sort of like the prismed like outline of the text, I think is a really nice touch. And yeah, just the art overall is really cool looking. So yeah, when they gave me permission to share that, I was like, oh, I'm sharing this. The thing was cool as hell.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And the next 4 are from Toon Vanderpute. And sorry if I said your name correctly. This looks like a mothership adventure that they are writing called Xanadu Found.
Yes.
Which, yeah, I love that title. It just has a good science fiction named sound to it.
Well, it's either that or Olivia Newton-John. The 2 directions you can go with it.
Yeah. Roller skates, Australia, or science fiction.
Yep.
It would be really ballsy to turn in an entry that was just 4 pages of covers also too. We've got 3 of them. So just being like, look, I did a lot of work. Don't come at me. Would be fun. Lex, did you make any of the titles interact with each other in different ways? Like we've got a Xanadu Found, we have a Xanadu Lost in the mix anyway.
No, I did not.
Oh.
Sorry, not yet. But
Well,
listen,
I'm gonna
the
encourage.
more I'm gonna have to.
I'm going to encourage this person afterwards to write the sequel to Xanadu Found called Xanadu Lost. Yeah. And then Xanadu Found again.
Yeah.
Like, just can't hold on to Xanadu. It just keeps slipping away.
Yeah, these are really fun covers.
So yeah, they were, I forget which one they settled on. I think
the middle one's the best one, if they're looking for my input.
It's hard because that A5 spread gives you just a little bit more. I agree though.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of the more amber colored one with the skull planet. I think that's that was their final decision. But I mean, yeah, they're all really good.
Of the 2 Skull Planet ones, I think that is the stronger Skull Planet one.
Of the Skull Planet ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this actually was one that I was really surprised by when they started posting it, because when I had created this title, I was thinking, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Xanadu, and I'm like, oh, you could just like look at that poem and just basically the Kubla Khan poem and basically just like make a module based on that pretty easily, and it would be your pretty standard, well, not standard fantasy, but it'd fit nicely into weird fantasy. So the fact that instead they were like, oh no, it's science fiction, I was like, oh cool, that's great. It's like a lost space station. Amazing. But we have notes from that one too? Is that what those
just
are?
some ideas for traps and what have you. So, a room full of flesh-burrowing worms, always fun. Areas of the station randomly decompress without warning. The station's AI has been infected with a virus, turning it homicidal. Always love a good small child British girl voice as AI that's out to kill you. So that's always fun.
Yep. Station will undock the party ship for the lulls. Great. Sounds like Mothership to me.
Yeah.
I also will say, I feel like not enough space adventures actually play around with gravity, so I love that gravity does a 180 on there. Like, if most Mothership adventures, when I do it, it's like, hey, you have to like jump across a void, or you're free floating. Like, they don't ever go in with, gravity's just fucking different now, and that's a really solid way to fuck with people. Like, it's also a really great tactical thing players can mess around with also too.
Yeah, and you could, I'm just thinking of like fun hints, like a water broke or something, and you see the water like forming a river on the ceiling, and you're like, well, that's weird, and then 4 steps later you're flung up to the ceiling. It's kind of fun. And then something that they've learned about the environment that they could use for their advantage, hypothetically, would be a really cool thing.
Yeah. Nice. Did we have any more? Is that all of it?
That was all, yeah.
Nice.
They're super good, super fun. So
yeah,
go
keep
jump
your eyes
into. I did put a link, and I'll put a link in the chat. Or I did put a link in the chat. I'll put a link in the description of this live stream as well. But it should be over on the itch page of getting to the Discord, and you can see a lot more of these as people are sharing and collaborating and writing cool stuff. So
yeah,
cool.
Well, yeah, I mean that we're pretty much up on time. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks for the people who joined us in chat. Thanks for the judges.
Lex, we want to talk about the other thing. I was late.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the other thing?
Yeah. We do want to talk about the other thing because I was going to put it at the front, but then you were late.
I wasn't here, so
we have.
Hopefully you stuck around to the end. If you were like other people's content, I don't care. You missed out. So something we talked about as judges and as a publisher. So if folks are interested, +1 would be super keen on looking at the finalists, folks who won prizes, but also maybe some judges' picks and some other kind of standout entries, and publishing 1 to 2 anthologies of about 10 adventures each as a collection of Appendix N Jam. Once it would be totally optional. We would do it on a revenue share or charity share model. So we're going to figure out some of those details. But be thinking about that. And if you're like, well, I don't know if my layout's good enough or if everything's in a match or any of those kind of things, that's our job, not your job while you're doing your submission. But it's something that we would love to be able to do to celebrate more voices in the jam, to be able to extend the conversation beyond what's happening here, and to be able to look at things within the jam that we are really excited about, and then be able to share those with the broader community in a different way. So that is something that we'll figure out more of the details about and let you know about, but we would love to make that happen. So as you're creating your work, start thinking about that. The great thing about +1 is we don't take anybody's intellectual property away from them. So it's not going to impact whether you can sell it on your itch page or put it out in other formats or anything else like that. Usually we just say, hey, link to the fact that it's published somewhere in print. But it's a great way to kind of gather some voices together from this and amplify some really distinct things happening within the creative community. And we'll also be looking for people to help with the final layout of that. So if you're interested in helping with some of that work or other things like that, come talk to us. We pay people for all the stuff we ask them to do. So let us know if you're interested. As we are going through the process, we will reach out to people individually for that. Competitions are kind of a thing that people have a lot of feelings about in the community, but if you're part of the Appendix N Jam, you've already signed on for part of that. And if we end up with 30 great entries, I'm happy to print 3 different zines of collections. So we'll reach out with some more specific details so people know in advance and can opt in, but just know it won't take away from anything else you can do. It'll just be another way to amplify the work that you've created.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that because it's super fun to have that written thing printed in your hand. Like, I made this, so. And who doesn't love an anthology? I love an anthology.
Something for us to think about as judges. I also think it's a really interesting way to basically, or potentially be like, hey, do we want to have Sam do 2 pages of notes on the art and these specifically and what stood out? Do we want to have Nova do a couple pages on why this collection? There's things on our side that we maybe even want to think about just adding a little bit in to kind of bring some of those things together. But I threw it out the other day, and we really wanted to let people know as soon as possible because we're really excited about it also. But I think starting to think about what our voices as judges can add to why we're excited about those is equally important, rather than just being like, hey, here's 10 things we thought they were great, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Commentary.
Yeah. The full Diogo cut. Most of the zines only have 44 pages. We have a Diogo version that has 56 pages of commentary on it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have. Lex, do you have anything further?
No, I don't think so. I think yeah, I'm very excited to see all these submissions.
Okay. And if we feel the need, maybe towards the end we'll do another live stream or something. But other than that, happy writing, good job, artists. Go create cool stuff, and that's all she wrote. So we'll see you next time, if not before. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.